Hello, May class, and welcome to your first English lesson this week. We are finishing up our instructions this week, so we are going to be learning, or we're going to be looking at editing the final innovation that we did on Friday. So what I would like you to do is turn to wherever you have kept that. Make sure you've got it in front of you. You will also need a different colored pencil or a pen if possible to edit your work. And we're going to go through a little bit about how to properly edit our work. As mentioned, we're going to be editing and making our work better. So in the previous lesson, we were completing the innovation of our instructions. And in today's lesson, we're going to be editing our work and making it better. So this is the one that I completed on Friday. We were modeling it to you, so we went through it. You should have your introductory paragraph that we did together. Then the next lesson, you were completing these, and we were making sure that we have the correct things in it. So we can have a read through mine, but yours will be slightly different, obviously, because you've written it at home. So I said, do you think about the outdoors? Do you dream about playing with your friends and running free in the park? If so, you are destined to escape your house. Do not despair. Help is at hand. Escaping your house has never been so easy. Read these step-by-step instructions, and soon you too could be riding your bike to freedom. What you will need: rope, a bacon, backpack, dark clothes, my Alexa, and my snacks. What you will need to do: first, quickly pack my backpack with snacks for the day. Next, put on my dark clothes to help you disappear silently into the dark. Then quietly set up the rope and the bacon to distract the dog. After that, sneakily set the Alexa to set an alarm off as a distraction. Then wait patiently for the Alexa to go off. Finally, when the Alexa goes off and distracts people, leopard crawl quickly to the door and escape. Important note: make sure that you work quietly and keep your plan secret. You do not want anyone finding out about your plan and foiling your escape. So that was mine. I haven't had another read through it. So we are going to look at editing our work today. So when editing our work, we could focus on the following ideas. We could suggest ways to improve our sentences. We could change different word classes. We could remember that not all sentences need to be jazzed up. So not all of them need really complicated vocabulary in them. We also need to make sure that we are proofreading it. We've put full stops, we've got capital letters, we've got question marks, we've got exclamation marks. Your SPAG lesson this afternoon will focus briefly on demarcating sentences, and that means using the correct demarcations like full stops, question marks, exclamation marks, capital letters, all of that kind of thing. So when we're editing, you need to make sure you are separating your writing into sentences, even remembering your finger spaces throughout your letters. And which punctuation do you think needs to go at the end of every sentence? So the first thing I suggest you do is pause the video now and read out your work aloud. Read your sentences. And you do know that sometimes and I've made a few comments like this in your Tapestry, of if you are unsure if you've spelled things correctly or your sentence is correctly structured, that you haven't missed out any of the words. Give your sentence a read through. Does it make sense? Does it sound correct? Okay. And decide when you're also reading through, you can read through your writing and decide where one of your ideas ends and another one begins. It should be a new sentence. Okay. Like I said, when reading it aloud, read your work aloud and decide where it would be best to take a breath. If you are reading your sentence aloud and you feel like there should be a place to take a breath, then you need to punctuate that, either with a comma or a full stop, a question mark, an exclamation mark. Imagine for a second that I was saying the following to you. Do you know where you're going? No, you don't. Well, you should follow me, and then we can follow my instructions and get to where we need to go. So you need to do this, and then you need to do this, and then you need to finally do this. And once you've finished all of that, then you have completed your task and you've got to where you need to go. Is too much. That sentence just went on and on and on, and I hadn't punctuated it. When I asked that question right at the beginning, I should have stopped there, put a question mark, because it was a question rather than carrying on and on and on. So pause the video now and read through your work. Read it out loud and see if you think that the sentences make sense. Right. The 4 things you are most likely to edit in your work, other than your punctuation and your capital letters, are the following. Your nouns, which are the person, the place, the thing, the abstract ones. Your verb, which we've looked at. We've looked at imperative verbs. We've looked at fronted adverbials. Your doing words, your action words. We've looked at your adjectives describing the noun. We've also looked at adverbs. Sorry, that was my mistake. Your adverbs of how the action is being done. So those would be your fronted adverbials of describing how the verb, which is your doing word, how you're doing that. And most likely, like we mentioned in your instructions, they will be imperative verbs, bossy verbs. And then your adverbs would then add to that, telling you how often, when, in what order, who, how quickly, how slowly, how they've done it. However, not all writing needs editing for the sake of it. So we don't just edit it because you say, well, Mrs. Van Huffel says we need to edit it, so we need to change this. Sometimes simple sentences can be the most effective and doesn't need changing. So for example, your short, snappy sentences in your introductory paragraph, they don't need to be lengthened. They are simple sentences and they are effective because they are short and snappy. In addition, not every word needs to be a thesaurus word, which means not every word needs to be a really big word that I struggle to pronounce or understand. Okay. So I want you to bear that in mind when we're looking at our work. If we look at this sentence, and I've used a short sentence that would have been an instruction, walk to the door. Walk being my imperative verb. While the sentence is okay, it's good, we can improve it. And we've spoken about this, about including adverbs into it to explain it better. I've also changed the word walk to something more exciting, something more descriptive of what we're doing. I'm not just walking to the door, I'm creeping to the door. Okay, so that's something to think about. Is walk a boring word? A little bit. Is it describing what you're doing? Are you just walking to the door? Or can we creep or crawl to describe it? And we can make that sentence better. I haven't used very big words. I haven't used my thesaurus. I've used words that I can think of just to make my writing a little bit better. So what effect does the new sentence have? Why is it a better sentence for the reader? So in your instructions, you're obviously giving the reader instructions of how to do something. And if they remember, we spoke about being very specific with your instructions. If you just said walk to the door, they're going to walk to the door and somebody's going to see them. But if they are creeping, it gives you the idea that they've got to do it slowly and quietly and sneakily. And I've said to creep silently. So they know how to do it. And it's much more descriptive for the person that is reading this. So let's have a read through what we wrote on Friday. We've already read through this. The first thing I'm going to do when I read through it is I'm going to look at the punctuation. So have a look for punctuate or for capital letters, which should be at the start of sentences and proper nouns. Have a look for commas after the fronted adverbials, full stops to finish sentences, question marks or exclamation marks if needed, and numbers for the steps. That should say steps. See, we all make mistakes. I'm just going to edit it actually. So I'm going to show you. So to edit it, I'm just going to put a line through it with my ruler, and I'm going to correct it with a different color above it, and it should say steps. Okay, and it should have bullet points for lists. So now that I know that the first thing I need to do is to punctuate my sentence, let's have a read through with my pink pen and see. Do you think about the outdoors? Now that's a question. That shouldn't have a full stop. It should have a question mark. Do you dream about playing with your friends and running free in the park? That's a question. Good. If so, you are destined to escape your house. I've got a fronted adverbial there that I haven't punctuated. So if so, comma, you are destined to escape your house. Do not despair. Help is at hand. Escaping your house has never been so easy. Read these step-by-step instructions, and soon you too could be riding your bike to freedom. What you will need. I need rope, bacon, my backpack, dark clothes, Alexa, and snacks. And I need to put my bullet points for my list. Then it says what you will need to do. First should be my fronted adverbial, so I'm going to put a comma. Quickly pack my backpack with snacks for the day. Next, put on my dark clothing to help you disappear silently into the dark. That's the end of my sentence. Then quietly set up the rope and the bacon to distract the dog. After that, sneakily set the Alexa to set an alarm off as a distraction. Then wait patiently for the Alexa to go off. Finally, when the Alexa goes off and distracts people, good, comma, leopard crawl quickly to the door. Make sure that you work quietly and keep your plans secret. I can see that I've got a problem there. I don't have a capital letter, so I'm going to put a ruler line through it and put a capital letter. Make sure that you work quietly and keep your plan secret. You do not want anyone finding out about your plan and foiling your escape. So I've checked my capital letters. I've checked my commas after my fronted adverbial. I've checked my full stops. I've checked my question marks or my exclamation if needed. I've got my numbers and my bullet points. So I've got the things that are for the punctuation. Next. Well, actually pause the video now, read through your piece of writing, making sure you read line by line. Make sure that you haven't written a word. So for example, if I was writing first and I haven't done this. Okay, that should not have a capital letter. Remember, your capital letters go at the start of a sentence or for a proper noun, like a name. Some of you also need to make sure that you are writing your words on the line and making sure you're using your margin. That's the line down your page on the side, that your work is starting on the margin and not in the middle of the page. So pause the video now and punctuate your sentence. Any punctuation that you may want to include that you may have forgotten. Once you have completed your punctuation, we will move on to adverbial phrases. So let me get my writing. Okay, I've got my pen back. So adverbs in your sentences we discussed are often words that end in ly. Okay, and I already know that I have these in here, but I think that I may have an issue with some of them. So let's see. Adverbial phrases are phrases that tell the reader when, where, how, why, or how often. Prepositional phrases tell you under, above, between, so they tell you where something is. Right? So we're going to have a read through and make sure that I've used adverbs in my writing. And already I can see that I have made a slight error with my steps. I have not spelled quickly correctly. So I'm going to put a line through it. And then I'm going to correct it at the top. Okay, I've corrected the spelling. So I've got quickly in that one, silently in that one, quietly, sneakily, patiently also. I've made a spelling mistake, so I need to go to my spellings. Patiently is spelled incorrectly, so I'm going to correct patiently. All right. You have a bit more space than me, so hopefully yours doesn't go over any other words. Finally, when the Alexa goes off, distracts people quickly to the door. Good. Okay, so I have now edited my adverbs. So pause the video now and check, have you included adverbs in your sentences? I've got my first, my next, my then, my after that, then, and finally. I've also punctuated my fronted adverbials correctly. Then I've added adverbial phrases in my writing. So read through. If you haven't included adverbs, pause the video now and add some adverbs into your sentences. Next, we are looking at the spellings. Okay, spellings don't, when you're looking for spelling mistakes, you are looking for words that don't look like they're supposed to be spelt, or perhaps you've used the wrong homophone in your writing. So check, it says spellings that don't look right. That's what you're looking for. And you are checking with an online dictionary if you have one, if you're able to get one. If you have a dictionary at home, fantastic. But the best way to do this is to read through, and any words you think look a bit funny or look like they should be spelled differently, underline them, then go and look in your dictionaries or online for the correct spelling. If you try and write this using Microsoft Word, you will often find that the words themselves get underlined with a squiggly line, and you can right click and edit your spelling already. So there are different ways of editing these. You can check online on the dictionary, you can check on an actual book dictionary, you can use your spelling words and your vocabulary words that you have learned, and you can check them as well. So it says, can you find all the words you've misspelt? So I start from the beginning. Do you think about the outdoors? Do you dream about playing with your friends and running free in the park? Now, I think dream doesn't look okay. If so, you are destined to escape your house. Do not despair. Help is at hand. Escaping your house has never been so easy. Read these step-by-step instructions, and soon you too could be riding your bike to freedom. Now, I don't think that's the correct version of read. What you will need: rope, bacon. Oh, that doesn't look right. Backpack, dark clothes, Alexa, snacks. What you will need: first, quickly, and we did discuss, we think that one's incorrect. Pack my backpack with snacks for the day. I'm going to circle my because I don't like how it sounds in that sentence. Next, put on my dark clothes to help you disappear silently into the dark. I don't like it in there either. Then quietly set up the rope and bacon to distract the dog. After that, sneakily set the Alexa to set an alarm off as a distraction. Then wait patiently. We decided that didn't sound right for the Alexa to go off. Finally, when the Alexa goes off and distracts people, leopard crawl quickly to the door and escape. Make sure that you work quietly and keep your plan secret. You do not want anyone finding out about your plan and foiling your escape. So the words I'm not sure of are dream, read, bacon, quickly and patiently. So I'm going to pause the video, I'm going to get my dictionary, and I'm going to correct them. These are the corrections that I get. Dream, read, patiently, patiently, quickly. Okay, those are the words that I need to correct, so I will write those above there. And then while I was reading, I felt like these two words they sounded a bit funny in the sentences. And I was right, because remember that your writing needs to be in the second person perspective. Because you are giving information to somebody else. So you're going to use words like you and your. You're not going to say my or I. So actually that is the wrong perspective that I'm writing from. So that should be first, quickly pack your backpack with snacks for the day. Next, put on your dark clothing to help you disappear silently into the dark. Then quietly sit up and right, so now we've corrected those. So pause the video now, read through your writing, check the spelling of any word that you think looks incorrect. You could also, if your adults have some time, get them to help you read through them and underline any words that they see an error in, and then you can take your writing and check it with a dictionary. So you do have that, but I would like you to try and do this for yourselves and show me your editing skills. So your three tasks today. One of them you were hopefully already doing with me while we were talking. It said complete the editing that has been modeled to you. So making sure that you have checked the spellings, checked your punctuation, checked having your adverbs, punctuating them correctly, make sure you've used imperative verbs, everything that you would need. Look at also how your work was laid out. Have you laid it out correctly? Did you write in the middle of the page, or did you use your margins like we spoke about? So task one should already be done because we were pausing the video as we were going. Task two, read through your writing and make sure you've included technical vocabulary. And then the third one is to rewrite your final innovated text out neatly with all the corrections and exciting vocabulary. And I would like you to really focus on laying it out neatly, and this being the very best presentation that you have for this work. Don't forget to share it with us on Tapestry. We are really enjoying seeing your work, and it's really lovely to see how hard you've been working.